funny? I just went to change my tape on my Easy Runner and dropped it on the floor and the whole thing smashed. So I had to run quick and get another one. How you guys doing? How was Heidi's class? Did you create a masterpiece with her? I hope you had a great time there. Whew. Okay, all adjusted now. Yay! Hello, happy Saturday. This is so exciting. I'm so excited to be with you guys. I have my laptop set up beside me. Got a little bit of glow. I was outside for a little bit before we got started today. And I have my laptop set up so I can read your comments. This will be a lot of fun to do live, right? So I'm very excited. I see lots of friends on here that I haven't seen for a while, like Shelly. Hi, Shelly. How are you? So very excited to be doing this today. We are going to have so much fun. I checked out a little bit of Heidi's and it looked like so much fun. I love that art walk collection. So now you get me and then Paige, and we're going to have fun today. So keeping in mind, you have lots of leftovers in this class when we're done, because 2 hours for me, that's tough. A 2 hour time range in there, but I know that we can go over a little bit if we need to, I think, because we have the live after. So we're gonna do the things. I feel like it's going to be good. There's minimal mixed media just for time wise, but you guys all have a jar of Prism glaze, right? So that's awesome. You guys can work with this after the fact if you want to add a little bit more and do some more fun things. But we're gonna have lots of fun. I'm checking your comments. How many of you are here? There's a bunch here. We'll chat for a few minutes before we get started, because I know that a lot of you probably are trying to shovel in some food after Heidi's class, right? We are so lucky to have a jar of that goodness. You are, because it is now like retired. So it is awesome that you guys all have that, and you're gonna enjoy it. When it's done, like when you're done today, just put some press and seal on top before you put your lid on, so all of your mediums stay nice and fluid or moist. A lot of people don't like that word, but that is a golden nugget trick. So hello guys, barely had a moment for lunch, but looking forward to the tag book. Yes. And I know some of you will maybe not start in right away. Just because this is live doesn't mean it's not recorded and you can come back and do it at your leisure, right? I have never used Prism Glaze before, excited for it. So I have stencil brush to use it, and as well, I used the gold glaze last night on my Friday Night Live with a ink blending tool, and it went on beautifully. So both will work, okay? So I'm so excited. You guys have any questions before we get started? See, my friend Nadine is saying, hello, Papillon, because I'm her butterfly. I love it. You're in for a treat. Yes, that glaze is a lot of fun. Me too, never used glaze before. So how we're going to use it today is with a blending tool or stencil brush, so it will dry quickly, because we have limited time, but it also is a texture paste, so you can use it with a palette knife as well. So it is super fun. So bonjour, hola, hello. I know we have people from all over the world. I'm sure I'm missing some language in there, but anyone who knows me knows that I struggle with English, and it's my language. So I have a hard time trying to pick anything else up. So I apologize, but that's the extent of it. Hola, bonjour, hello. Ciao. Yes, thank you. I could do that too for my Italian friend Paola. Today, we are going to be prepping and getting ready to make this album. So I like to run these classes where we will cut all of the paper, get it all really organized, and then we'll start assembling. And it's all just going to be dependent on how much time we have. But you will find that it's all ready to go. So I always say it doesn't have to go into your scrapbook kit graveyard. Even though you have like 2 hours with me to make multiple pages, like really in 2 hours you might make 1 or 2 layouts. So sometimes when you make a mini book or something that's multiple pages takes a little bit longer. So I always say embellish at the end. That's something you can always come back. The jewelry and adding the photos and journaling is the fun part. So for today, if we get the bones of it done, and some of the interactive bits done, then I feel like this is something tonight. Maybe you want to sit and have a cocktail or a warm cup of tea and just kind of put your bits on, or save it for later this week when you have a little bit of time to just embellish it. Because like I say, the ephemera and the stickers and all of the fun parts are the best bits to these projects. So let's see, I think I'm going to say that everybody who wants to be here today to do this live is here. So because we're live, you just have to give me a second, because I'm going to flip the camera so we can face down. So I always say this is like Blair Witch for a second. I'm going to jiggle you around for a little bit. I'm going to flip the camera, and then we're going to talk about the tools that we need. I'm going to show you I use a cutting diagram, but I do have this lovely instruction book beside me, and I can reference that as well. But you will find I really don't. After the cutting's done, we just do the things. So I'm super excited for this class as well. And if you have any questions, like I said, I have my laptop set up beside me, so I will be able to see your question. If I don't catch it the first time, just say, Vicki, over here, I have a question, and we'll get to it. So gonna flip the camera around, and we're gonna get started. All right, let's go. So just give me a sec here. Like I said, this is the jiggly part, right, where I try not to hang up on everybody. So we're having a heat wave today. It's very hot outside, and I just sat out there for a little bit and watered my plants that were almost dying. You know what I'm talking about, right? And now I have this glow. I did put makeup on, but it's not turning out so well for me today. There we go. That wasn't too bad, was it? And now the biggest thing is not to hang up on you guys. All right. So let's just check and make sure we're good. And it looks good on my screen. Oh, and you got to see my belly. Put any questions in like question, and Vicki will see it quicker. Yes, very clever. Okay. Yay, I have taken my seat. I'm going to flip through the book so you see the direction we're going in. You could definitely add ribbon and anything charms onto this when you're done. I love flip books, and you want to know why? It's because I can make it as bulky as I want, and it really doesn't interfere with it, the closure or anything. So I thought this would be a fun thing to do, a little flip book, and I'm very excited because we're using a product line I haven't seen for a while, and I forgot how much I loved it, right? If you've been following me for a little bit, Paige is really smart, and she can tell you which collection, how many collections and stuff she's done. I don't ever know those things, so I know it's been a lot. I think 6, 7 maybe. But this one's Let's Wander, and it's travel themed, and I think this is kind of perfect because we're going to be leaving the house soon and getting out and doing things, and I think that it will be fun if we have a project that's ready and waiting for our next adventure. So I see Michelle says, question, can you post the cutting diagram later? Always handy. I'll print it and put it in my booklet for more projects later. I most certainly can. Where are you fromage, Vicki? Where am I fromage? It's not cheesy or anything. It's St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. I live right outside of Niagara Falls. So I can go to Toronto from my house, takes me about an hour, a little bit longer to go visit Catherine. And Niagara Falls is literally, like, for me to go to Buffalo is the same distance, about an hour. So that kind of gives you an idea of my placement in Ontario. I think we're okay too with you can see part of me, my belly. Let's just switch that. Nobody needs to see that. Okay, and then my boobs, right? So we're good now. Good times. So you have lots of goodies in this kit. We're not going to use everything because there is a ton. You have an ephemera pack that is the kind of tags and embellishment. We have this to use. You have the chipboard icons that are two-sided, and you have the 6x12 sticker book. We are probably not going to open the embellishments other than have this handy because there are some large pieces in here we actually are going to use as pages in the book. So I will keep that out, but I'm not going to use the stickers anytime soon. The other thing that you have in your kit is a full 6x12 paper pad. And if you notice, my paper pads are double-sided, which is a little unusual with American Crafts because most of them are single-sided. But this was something that I fought for and gave up the specialty paper in my paper pads to have them double-sided. Because I make mini albums a lot, I like to have double-sided paper. So most of the paper pads that you get, or you've noticed from American Crafts, are single-sided. The only one that is not double-sided is the project pad. So if you buy that at Joann's, it's single-sided, but all of my 6x12 and 6x8 and 12x12 are double-sided. So you have that in the kit. Everyone will have some kind of stencil, which is awesome because if we would have been in class together, we would have shared these and no one would have had a stencil to take home. So these all of my stencil packs come in 3 different patterns. So Catherine wasn't sure, and I don't remember if we split one pack, so there's 3 different styles floating out there, or if there's 6, we might have taken 2 different stencil packs. And everyone might have, it might be quite the array of stencils. So this is the one that came in my kit. I have my whole stack of stencils out here so we can talk about it, but we're only going to be using it. Oh look, I have doubles of some of them. So these are newer ones. I don't know which ones you have in your set. But this is one of those things when you start getting into mixed media, the first thing I would invest in are stencils. Even before stamps, because I think they're more inexpensive and you can get a real variety of patterns, and they'll always be your best friend when it comes to mixed media. Okay, so I have a whole stack here, but I'm probably just going to use the one that came in the kit because, like I said, it's minimal. What we're doing with this today is very minimal. The other thing that you have, and again, it's a specialty item because they have retired the 6x8 size of ready-to-use mixed media backgrounds, but you have a whole set. So there are 36 sheets in here. We are not using all of these. You have tons and tons and tons of stuff left over to do homework. I like to say this is for homework. So Catherine is saying they were almost sold out when we took the event virtual and everyone needed a stencil. Was glad we could get one. And they were probably sold out before we even decided to take the event virtual. The stencils go very quickly. So like I said, it's a bonus anyway that you get one in your kit. So obviously my project will have one pattern, but just like if we were in class, everyone would have a different stencil to use. So it's all good. And like I said, you have tons. There's tons left over in this kit. The other thing that you will have in your kit bag should be 2 sheets of 110 white cardstock. Mine's dirty, doesn't even matter. I don't know what I was doing. I must have been rolling around on the floor with my pad of white cardstock. But this is the other thing that we are going to use today. And that's everything. The other thing, let's talk about tools that you need. So you need a corner rounder, a paper trimmer, and it actually, well, yes, you do need a 12x12 because we have to cut into the 12x12 white cardstock. You need, I use for my interactive bits, 1/8 inch double-sided tape. You need some kind of adhesive. Later you'll need foam dots and a hole punch. So a scissors. So just your basic tools. And then like I said today, it's not tonight, it's still daytime here, I'm going to use an ink blending tool because I feel like most of you will have this maybe over a stencil brush. Well, some of you are winning these this weekend, so that's kind of exciting. But for sure, I'm going to use, I can show you with both, on both sides, so you see how awesome this will work. The other thing that will be super helpful is I often will use the cover off of my pads that have these bits that I love because you can reuse them as a palette or a tool. When I go to put my medium down, we can use this to blend with. So you have that, and then a craft mat, just so you can keep your surface clean. I did list on there painter's tape or washi tape, just to tack down your background. I'll probably go rogue and just throw the stencil on and use it. But certainly if you don't want your stencil to move, washi or painter's tape is a great tool to keep everything secured in place. So yay! I am so excited to get started, so let's do the things. So here's the plan for today. Are you ready? We're going to do all the paper cutting first, and then we're going to organize the pieces, like what goes with what, and then we're going to come back and start building. Because then I feel like if you have to leave for any reason, your project is all ready to be assembled, and I feel like that is a better place to start for us that are going to do some building, and it's a great place if you're leaving off to come back. Okay, so that's the plan. And I pulled out my paper that we're going to need. I believe that's why it's in the stack, because I did this a while ago. But we'll go through what you need out of your double-sided paper pad, and I put it in order. So that's exciting. So let's do this first. Go ahead and grab your ready-to-use mixed media paper, and let's pull out the bits that we need. So we are going to start, and I put it in the same order that I have it here. So this is the order we're using it in the book. So when you get into your pad, please, and look at this, isn't it awesome? So this is all my art. I created all of these backgrounds, and then American Craft scans them and prints them and put some foil on some of them for the specialty. So what you need first is the green dot with the gold foil circles on it. So grab that piece and just flip it over, and we'll make our stack. So it's going to be in your paper pad right here. So grab that sheet, tear it out. I know I was watching Heidi, and she folds and tears on the perf. I just tear it out. It will wreck your gum binding on your pad, but I always rip stuff, so I'm one of these ones that just take it right out of the pad like that. Do whatever makes you happy. We're going to trim it off anyway. Question: full sheet or tear at the hole? I just said that, so hopefully you caught that, Michelle. There might be a little bit of delay because we're live, but yes, I tear the whole sheet off, and then I always cut because I don't like the perforation marks. So do whatever makes you happy. Either will work. We are going to cut the piece off that has the hole on the top. The next piece you need is the orange one that looks like the paint is spilling down the page, and it is actually right after the green. And put that guy in your stack. And if you've noticed, the paper is nice and thick in this. If you're a card maker, you can make some beautiful cards out of this. You could make a whole other mini book. Like, there will be enough left over for you to make lots and lots of pretty fun. The next paper in the stack is this pink one with the yellow and that gold script down the side. Isn't that beautiful? So go ahead and grab that one and put it in your stack. And then the pooled turquoise and green paint. These were all created for the most part with art crayons. So my Vicki Boutin art crayons, I made all these backgrounds and then sent them off. And like I said, it's kind of fun because if you're a little nervous to do mixed media, it's all done for you, but I hope that this hooks you and then it makes you go, oh, I like this. I'd love to try that for my on my own and make it in pink. So, or look at, there's a pink one. So in your pad, grab that pink pooled paper. So this kind of pattern is made by putting your paint drips down and drying them in layer, layer, layer. But the key is to dry in between. So you totally could make this yourself. And then we have the same idea. I painted in circles, I dried, and that one might actually be made with my friend Tim Holt's Distress ink. That looks very Distress inky with how reactive the white dots are in it. Oh, I lied. You know what this made with? My watercolor markers that as well are retired, but you still can get a version of that from other companies, but that's what I did with that one. And then this one that is right at the front, please grab that one and put it in your stack. And then the bubbles. So if you have been following me for a while, I love to do some crazy techniques. And this one we blew bubbles in soap paint and made mixed media backgrounds. And I added one of those because this is always a super popular pattern. So that's that one. And then this, which is just brush strokes in this kind of chartreuse color. So go ahead and grab that one and put it in your stack. And then the one right from the front with the rainbow colors and the gold foil dots. And I don't think we use this one, but we'll just put it in our stack anyway. I don't remember. So just put that in your stack. And we're good to go. I don't think we use this one. Maybe we do. Put that at the back too. Okay? And then we're good. It's not going to hurt anything, right? And I'm going to set this aside and we're going to start our paper cutting. Are you ready to go, my friends? And I will definitely, because some of these ladies, when they ask about the cutting diagram and stuff, they've probably taken my classes before, because this is how my brain works. I work better off of seeing it drawn out and then knowing how the cutting is going to work rather than reading it. I always write the instructions for you guys, but for me, when I teach a class, I don't reference the instructions at all. I reference my cutting diagram. So I'm going to be following that. So even though it might be written in the book differently, then I will read it out, just kind of share my brain as we go. This is great for reference, but because you're doing the class live with me, I feel like it is easier if you don't have to think too much. Let me do the thinking today, and I'm just going to call out the numbers. You're going to see exactly how I put the paper in the trimmer and just cut. And it's not super complicated, right? This is going to go through pretty quickly or by pretty quickly comparatively to some of my classes that were cutting like literally 28 pieces of pattern paper. I have paper clips, which is anytime you take one of my classes, this is always added as a basic tool, because I find that this will keep it super organized. Will you post the cutting diagram? Yes. You might have just got here, Kathy. That question was asked, and yes, I will go up as soon as I'm done with the live portion on Facebook, and I will scan it, and I will send it to Jen so she can do it the proper way. Okay, so yes, I will, 100%. And because this was really only for me, some of it is kind of messy, so don't think they always look like this. I literally just drew this before we started today, just so I could look like I know what I'm talking about, right? Because I need to have this. This is just how my brain works. So let's get started. Grab your 6x8 double-sided pattern paper book. And the first paper that we're going to cut is the floral. We're going to go in order of the pad, and we're only working through half. So you have half left over to make magic. So like I said, I tear the whole thing out. You do whatever makes you happy. You can totally use these, even though there's a perforation in the middle, as flag banners, so I wouldn't throw them away. But let's start with the floral with the pink speckle. I have my trimmer handy, and we are going to go ahead and cut the little piece off the top. Okay, and then out of the 8-inch length, please cut a 2.5-inch piece, and that will leave you with the 5.5. Okay, so the first cut is 2.5, and that gives us a 2.5 and a 5.5. Take the 5.5 and turn it so you can make it a 5.5-inch square. So you're going to cut 1/2 inch off of the 6-inch side. So the finished size for this first piece is 5.5 by 5.5. Okay? And I just go through and clip them together, so when I need to find them when we're assembling, I know exactly where to find my pile. So everyone should still have that 2.5 by 6. So turn it so you're cutting out of the 6-inch length, and you're going to cut a 5 3/4 inch piece. So you're just cutting off a 1/4 inch off one end. Okay? So the finished size of this is 5 3/4 by 2.5. And then that goes in your cut pile. So really the two pieces we're going to be using are the 5.5 by 5.5 and the 5 3/4 by 2.5. The next paper you're going to cut from is the sunglasses. I love this paper. So you will find as we get started, it will be much easier. I wouldn't keep trying to read your instructions unless you're working ahead. Literally just grab the paper and cut with me. I find it so much easier. Go ahead and take your little doobie off the top, the little strip. And the height of this is 8 inches right now. The finished height's going to be 7 3/4. So go ahead, rather than turning it on your trimmer, and cut the longest part to 7 3/4. This is just going to be a mat on one of the ready-made backgrounds. So all we're doing is just trimming it slightly smaller. So once you've cut this 7 3/4, turn it on your trimmer and trim down the 6-inch side to 5 3/4. You're just cutting a 1/4 inch off of both sides. Okay? Look at, oh my goodness, and I know a lot of you, one of the best papers ever to come out one of my lines, and this was the best stencil ever. Go ahead and round all 4 corners on this piece. And if you guys follow me or have taken my classes before, because you know I love teaching online, and every single class that I teach now I do a live video, because I just find that this is way easier than trying to do it on your own. I normally have my little garbage pail here, and it's on the other side because my desk here is double-sided, so I will often have 2 full-on projects going. So I found a bowl. I like to put all my bits somewhere. So we're done with that piece. I'm just going to put it in my pile. How you guys doing? Are you rocking along? Just listen to the crafting Yoda, yeah, or the crazy lady. Grab the straight piece next, and this is super easy. We're just going to cut it into 2 4 by 6 pieces. So go ahead and trim the little piece off the top, and then cut 2 4-inch pieces. So there's are your 4 by 6s. And I have my paper clips, but for some of these, well, let's just do it. Don't break the rules, Vicki. Oh, we have a thunderstorm starting. Oh my goodness, yes, I hope the power stays on. I have my water here. What is everybody drinking today? I have strawberry and peppermint water. I have a peppermint plant outside. I love to grow mint around where we sit because it keeps mosquitoes down. And then I throw it in my water. So I chopped up some strawberries today and put in some mint, because that's all I drink now is water and iced coffee. So it's very yummy. And when it's hot, it's good to put fruit in your water, because the lady that I'm following tells us that it's takes longer for your body to process, so it absorbs more. So a good tip. Next paper is another favorite, the Sunburst. I call this Sunburst. All right, isn't it beautiful? Look at with the little pink polka dots on the back. We're doing the same thing here. We're just trimming a 1/4 inch off of each side. So I'm gonna go put it in my trimmer, and we're going to cut it down to 5 3/4 by 7 3/4. So go ahead and just cut a 1/4 inch off of both sides, and I'm going to cut it off the top on here just so I keep the part where the sunbursts come out. I like to keep that piece on there, so your preference, it doesn't really matter. Okay, yay, another piece done in my cut pile. Raspberry lemonade, lime vodka, berries, and mint. We've had a few. Okay, Sarah, I hope your paper still gets cut straight, but definitely enjoy, friends. I love it. Who are you gathered with, Sarah? who you're crafting with, or are you just drinking alone? Because no judgment here. If you want to drink alone, it's okay. Did everyone's video stop, or is it just me? Mine is still working. So here, let's talk about this because this is live. So this is a different thing. If you have an issue where it is your internet connection, can you type this out for me, Catherine, or whoever's watching, just to refresh, and then just make sure that she goes on the live button so she's not behind for Steak Goddess, because sometimes that can happen. The other thing is, say for some kind of weird reason my video shut off, what I will do is create a new link, and Catherine or whoever's watching would post it on the page, and we just pick up with a new link. It's happened before, because it's just something something that can happen during a live. So for any reason, if it is my connection, something goes wonky, all I do is start a new video. And then I would share on this actual link in the description. I would put a clickable link for you to get into the new one, or we would post it on the board. It doesn't happen very often, but you never know with internet, okay? But yes, if it's your internet connection, all you have to do is refresh and you should be peachy, okay? So the next paper we're gonna cut are the teal dots. And this is an easy one as well, just 2 4x6s. So you're just going to cut the 1/8 in half for 2 4x6s. So I will just go ahead and cut the little piece off at the top. And there are my 2 4x6s. I love this paper. Isn't it pretty? I love this collection. It's fun, like it's something, I don't know, I feel like times have changed where before everything needed to be new. I want the new. I still love the new, but I love too revisiting some of these older collections. It's a lot of fun, right? The next paper that we're gonna cut is another favorite. It's the next one on the pad, is Hello. Is it me you're looking for? Had to pop out some Lionel Richie, right? If you see Hello, I have to pop out a little Lionel Richie Hello. You're going to cut this into 2 3x8s to start, so turn it on your trimmer. There's only one way you can get that. And cut 2 3x8 pieces. One of these pieces is, for right now, there's more instruction, but I'm going to say set it aside and we will cut it down to size when we build this page. Okay, so go ahead and just put this, leave it the size. Just leave it this size for now, and we'll cut it when we need it. And now we're going to cut this into, we need 2 3-inch pieces off of it, and it's going to actually be the yellow side, so it doesn't matter where you cut it. But it says 2 3x3 squares out of the second piece and 1 2-inch. You only need the 2 3x3s. Yes, not sitting. The video may stall if you're using the highest quality. Very helpful. Michelle is telling you there is a little gear when you hover over the screen where the video is that you can change your quality level from 720 and reduce it, and that might help with your bandwidth. So that's super helpful. If your video quality needs to be brought down, you can still see, but it will help with your streaming. Okay, so cut 2 3-inch pieces out of this yellow side. Oops. And that will leave you with the little 2-inch piece. And I will clip these with my hello, is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes. I can see it in your smile. Okay. Next, frames. Fun, right? Frames. What was the final size of the mini flip book? I don't know what you're working on there, Andrea. If you're working ahead, you'll have to wait till I get there because that will throw everyone off if I start to talk about, because I think you're talking about something that comes in the book later, and I'll explain that when I get to that part, okay? I think that's what you're talking about because there is a mini book within the mini book, and it's all folded in half, but there is some adjustments that need to be made if that's what you're talking about. And that's what I'm thinking, okay? So this paper, we're going to actually, on one of the pages, cut out all the bottom 6 little mini Polaroids. So watch what I'm going to do, because you need the bottom of that. I'm going to flip it and cut out of the top where the hearts are, or wherever you want. If there's something you like, you can make that decision. You also have a second sheet of this, right? Hello, Natalie. So we're going to cut 2 3/4 out of the top of this page. 2 3/4. That's going to be a strip we use in the book. And then later, we're not going to do this right now, but all of these I cut out. And at least they're all straight edges for the most part, unless you want to cut around the little washi tape bits. So you could cut, let's just do it. We'll just do it. So go ahead and with your paper trimmer for speed, go ahead and cut out these little beauties. So if you guys are new to me, you're not part of the Vicki Boo crew, the V-Boo crew, welcome. I'm really happy that we get to hang out together today. But I just wanted to let you know. So Natalie D'Souza just popped on here, and she is one of my right-hand women. So Natalie has been on my design team since the beginning, and she helps me always with the videos. So if you have any questions that I'm missing, she always is really good. She will catch on here. So all I'm doing is cutting these out into the little Polaroids. I love too, see these photos? They're actually from my travels. So this was in New York City. This was on one of the cruises that I teach on. And this one was in England. We had gone out. I don't remember, somewhere I was that was tropical, and that is Coney Island. Isn't that fun? So when we did this paper, the designer I work with at American Crafts had said, hey Vicki, do you have any photos we can use? Because you travel, so it'll be kind of fun to put your photos rather than stock photos onto the paper. And I went, sure. And I love how that turned out. And this one did come in a large 12 by 12 sheet as well. So I am going to just continue. Don't cut this one though. This goes in your cut pile, okay? Only the bottom 6. And if you made a boo-boo, guess what? You have more paper and just grab it and cut it again. But not the top piece. And I'm glad I moved it because that could have happened. This one I will cut with scissors because I'm going to leave that little washi tape piece on the bottom. So I will just cut that quickly. Yes, and Natalie also works with Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine. So I'm sure if you didn't know her through me, you know her through all of her awesome, other awesome endeavors, right? Wow, even you didn't know that either, Catherine? Yeah, so I love going to England. When I was there, I got to hang out with Shamel and Wonder Boy, and I'm actually planning another trip. I just talked to the cruise organizer and she's like, do you want to take another cruise? Because we had to cancel out of Southampton. And it goes to Spain and France. And then I talked to my friend today from Spain and asked her, I'm like, what are these 2 ports like they're talking about? Is it a nice part of Spain? Because I've never been to that part of Spain. And she's like, yes, it's where we vacation. So I'm definitely booking it now. And when I'm there, because it's in England, I also do a side trip in London. And I teach with a group in England, always does an awesome event, and then we hang out. And these were the 3 ladies who run the event in England that I got to go into London with. And we had these cocktails. You want funny? I think it was 11 o'clock in the morning because it's just how the day went. but they took me to a restaurant called Duck and Waffle. If you're ever in London, that's at the top of, I think it's called the Gherkin, the pickle, whatever it is. It's a building that looks like a pickle. And we had these drinks, and one of them had pine needles in it, and it tasted like toilet bowl cleaner. And I'm like, who would enjoy that? I don't know. But we each got a drink and then tasted them. Just, we didn't drink them, but I needed the picture. It's all about the photo, right? But one of them had pine in it, like a whole sprig of pine, and it tasted like toilet bowl cleaner. And I was not down for that one. Delicious. If you like pine, I don't know, some people might really like that. That was not my cup of tea. And I did drink a lot of tea when I was in England as well. We went for what do you call that? Is it going for high tea or whatever? We did that too. So much fun. So I love that with this being a travel collection, that I have these memories when I look at this as well. The other thing, if you ever get a chance to go when you're in New York, take the train out to Coney Island. Oh my goodness. And then get off before going back into the city and walk across the Brooklyn Bridge. Awesome. So definitely, and there's so much mural art out there. If you're into that, you would absolutely love it. It was one of our best days when we were in New York, is going to Coney Island. Super awesome. Okay, friends, are you ready? We had high tea on a double-decker bus when we were in England. That's awesome. Yeah, I think we were looking at that as well. You ready? We need this one next. Okay, the leaves paper, and we're doing the same thing. We're just going to cut it down slightly smaller, but this one is even a little bit smaller. So the width is going to be 5.5 by 7.5 for this one, okay? So go ahead, and I'm going to trim, because I don't think we use any of the scraps of this, so go ahead and trim 7.5 by 5.5. And I think that's right? I'm looking at that and going, we'll go with it. You can't really make a mistake here. 5 by 7.5. And then go ahead and round the 4 corners on this piece. Okay? Good job, friends. This is so much fun. I love, for as much as, because, you know, I've been scrapbooking for a long time, very excited to be a part of this American Crafts event that Catherine and Scrapbooking Cars is putting on, with people that I don't only call friends, but I also am incredibly inspired by, and kind of awesome to get to sit and craft together, isn't it? I wish we were live and in person, but this, I find, is a great opportunity still, that we still could connect and craft, right? So we're good with that one. Please grab the next page in the stack, which is the airplanes. And let's cut that. Whoops. Look at it. The perforation wanted to come off on its own, so I won't fight it. And we are going to cut 2 4x6s. Clean that up from the perforation. And then one of the 4x6s cut down to a 5-inch piece. So cut 1 inch off. So it will be 4 by 5. Okay. So that's it for that piece. Now we're going to go into the stars, and you only need a little strip of this one, okay? So you guys decide where you want to cut it from, if you want it from the blue end or the orange end. I will show you where I used it. Did I use the star side? No, I used the dot side, so it doesn't matter, okay? So I'm just going to cut it from the top of the piece. So I'm going to trim my little piece off the top, and I am going to cut a 3/4 by 6-inch piece. A 3 1/4, 3 1/4, I said 3/4, 3 1/4 by 6-inch piece, and then I'm going to cut this down to 5 1/4. So the finished size is 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. Yes, we have a lot of fun on those cruises. I can't wait. I'm gonna be booking those this week. I'll sign the contract and get all that set up because I need to get out of this house. I love my children and my husband, and we have, you know, survived this, but I will be very happy to leave the house. I'm not gonna lie. This paper, I don't think we use. I think maybe we cut it apart. So just leave this for now and you can come back. We may use this just as cards, but we do use this one. So let's go ahead and take that out and see we've cut through 12 of the patterns and you have 12 left. So this one, I want you to go ahead and cut this strip off and then the photo strip. This we're keeping as that piece. Okay, the one that says menu, you are here, and receipt is going to stay as that piece. We're going to actually use the map side of that. So just follow the art and cut out the little photo strip. And that goes in your cut pile like that. We're going to use this side of it. And then go ahead and cut, oops, the little photo strip out. And then cut these 3 tags apart. Recorded, things to do, and packing checklist. Sorry if my head's in there. Sometimes it's hard to cut when it's so far away from you. There we go. Very good. Okay. Still keep your trimmer out because we're going to need it as we start putting this together. But I'm going to clip that little section so I don't lose them. It's not too bad. If you have taken my class before, you know that the paper trimming is usually way more than this. So that stack is mini, isn't it, friends? Comparatively to what we normally cut. So put that there. We are going to do a little bit, let's trim the white cardstock next. Even though it's not the order that I went in, but let's just trim the pieces we need out of the white cardstock. And then we will cut the ready-made backgrounds as we need them. I think that that will be easier. So let's go ahead and cut our white cardstock. And we'll do some mixed media, and then we'll start putting some of the pages of the book together. Okay? So grab a sheet of the white cardstock. Mine got a little beat up. So I want to make sure I use this one first. So we're going to cut 3 12-inch strips out of this, and then we'll cut into the strips. So grab your white cardstock, and always remember with the basil that this isn't like, if you just cut where the art is on this or the writing, it's not true 12 inches. So the first thing I do is put it in my trimmer, measure 12 inches, and then trim the little UPC strip off the top, because you'll see it is a little bit underneath the barcode. And then we're going to cut 2 4.5 by 12-inch strips. So 2 4.5 by 12-inch strips. And I know some of you probably cut ahead of time, because I always say though, if you were in a class, you would never get the kit ahead of time. So never feel like you have, unless there's like with pages, you had to do a little bit of trimming ahead of time, because there is a time limit, right? But whenever you take one of my classes, I always do the paper cutting with you, because I think if there's going to be a place that someone struggles, it's usually in the math part of the class. So we're going to take one of the 4.5 by 12s, okay, one of those, and please trim a 6 3/4 inch piece. So put it in, and out of the 12-inch length, 6 3/4, and a 5-inch piece. My trimmer blade is getting a little not fun. So the second piece is 5 inches. So you're just cutting that little bit off the end, okay? 1/4 inch. So I can sand this stuff later, but yes, my trimmer blades start to hack it up. So out of that first 4.5 by 12, cut a 6 3/4 and a 5-inch piece. And then out of your second 4.5, please trim 2 5-inch pieces. So 2 5-inch pieces. Those in your cut pile. And keep that little piece that's left. When we go, you know the little Polaroids that we cut out? I did trim little pieces that I matted on top of those, but you really don't have to add this. You could just put a photo on there. And I'll give you a tip too for an app that I use when you want to print small sizes of photos. It is an Apple product. It is an Apple app. I don't think there's anything equivalent to it for Android, so sorry about that. But if you are an Apple user, it's a game changer for printing all different sizes of photos, especially from your phone, because that's how I use it. So you still have the 3 by 12 left, or pardon me, is it? Yes, the 3 by 12. We need to cut a 6-inch piece off of this. So go ahead and cut 6 inches from that remaining strip, and then turn it and cut it down to 2 3/4. Okay, so the finished size of this strip is 2 3/4 by 6. And put that in your cut pile. So this is what I cut out this here. We're gonna wait on that little strip there because you don't really need them. I just needed it to photograph the album, and we'll come back to that. We have this piece to cut. It is the other sheet of white cardstock. Go ahead and cut the barcode off. And then please trim a 5.5 strip and a 6-inch strip from this paper. A 5.5 and a 6-inch strip. 5.5 and 6-inch. From the 6-inch, trim a 5-inch piece and a 7-inch piece. So if you trim the 5-inch, that leaves you with a 7-inch. Okay? In my cut pile. And then from the remaining 5.5 by 12, trim a 4.5-inch piece, and that will leave you with a 7.5-inch piece. So from the 5.5 by 12, trim a 4.5, and that leaves you with a 7.5. Make sure you keep your ruler handy, because when we need to grab what we need out of here, it makes it much easier if you can quickly reference the size that you need. Okay, and I'm going to put that in my cut pile. And then the only thing that we need to cut right now from the ready-made background from this stack are the 2 pieces we put right on top. So we have the green circles, so we need to trim this. So go ahead and take the little piece off the top. Okay, and you're going to cut this into a 3.5 by 8-inch piece and a 2.5. So turn it and cut 3.5 inches. Okay, set that aside. So 3.5 and a 2.5. And then out of the orange paper, we're going to cut it into 2 4-inch by 6-inch pieces. So you're going to cut out of the 8-inch length, measure 4 inches, and cut 2 pieces. And let me show you. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to keep this one, don't cut, keep this one as a 6-inch piece, and this one turn and cut into 2 3 by 4-inch pieces. So the piece that is more orange or solid, cut into two 3x4-inch pieces. And now we're ready to start building our book. I'll keep my paper trimmer handy. We're going to do some mixed media. So if you have a craft mat, you'll want to grab that now. This will not take long. It's a quick and fun technique just to show you. I wanted to slide some kind of mixed media in here, even though you have the ready-made backgrounds. So we need that. So what we're going to do is actually this page here, we're going to do the mixed media for it. So let's look at what the size is of that page. So you're going to grab out of the white cardstock that we just cut a 5.5 by 7.5 inch piece. And I just want to make sure you get all your stuff sorted so you're ready to go. So I'm going to grab those two largest pieces that I have, and I am going to take the 5.5 by 7.5 inch piece. Okay, 5.5 by 7.5. How's everybody doing out there? Are you doing okay? Any questions? I'm here for you if you need me. Okay, so we are going to grab the stencil. So whatever stencil you got in your kit will work perfectly for what we're doing. And this is the one that went in mine, or came in mine, so it's exactly what I'm going to use. So take your stencil out. You know what I did not say that you needed, but you're going to need either a paintbrush or a palette knife, something that will get the glaze out of the container, okay, friends? I'm nervous about the mixed media part. What are you using for this, Ellen? Are you using a sponge, or are you using an ink blending tool? I'm just looking for some washi tape because I think it will be helpful if I show you guys how to tack this. Oop, it's right in front of me. Found some. So what are we going to do for this, right? We're going to take our stencil and we're going to lay it on top, and you're going to use the frame for your stencil art is going to be centered on this piece. So what I would recommend, because I think it will make it easier, is to tack your paper down first so it won't move on you, just right at the edge. Actually, even at the side, because it's a little bit wider for the stencil. So I just don't want this card to move. It's tacked down, and now we can take our stencil and center it on the ish is fine. And I'm going to show you something. Do you see the binding holes? These are not on my stencils anymore. Some of you, that makes you sad, but for me, I just think it's less of an opportunity to make a boo-boo on your art. So I'm just going to mask my stencil down, but I'm also masking those holes so I don't have 3 polka dots on my background where I didn't want them. So you can use painter's tape, you can use washi. A lot of people will use painter's tape because you don't want to throw or ruin your washi by throwing it in the trash when you're done. So you have options. You could use this plastic, and let's do that because I think everyone has that. Because how the stencils were dispersed, I think everyone got this little piece of plastic. So I'm going to use that as my tool. That's what I'm going to use to add the medium. So go ahead, and when you get mediums, I like to tap it on the table so it's not all sitting on the top of my lid. And go ahead and open it up. And this glaze is prism glaze. It is this beautiful turquoise, but it has this iridescent green to it. So go ahead and take off your glaze so you're not wasting. And I throw this piece out. Can you see that color? It's like fish scales. It's beautiful. And I have a palette knife, but you could use a paintbrush. Whatever you have. I have my ink blending tool ready. If you have a mister handy, if you're new to this, a little bit of a water mister might be helpful. I don't need it with my stencil brush, but I find the foam is a little bit more absorbent. So sometimes this can come in handy, okay? So we're gonna take our stencils now secure, so it's good. Always keep in mind, kind of look at the pattern. This pattern of stencil, there's a lot of open space. It's about 50-50 to open space and stencil space. So you always want to keep in mind when you start to put your medium in here that you're not pushing it underneath, especially when you're using a palette knife. I always, if I was going to use this as a full-on texture paste, I would scoop it and I would scrape it in one direction, not back and forth, because it's just accident waiting to happen. Really easy to push it underneath your stencil, okay? This is why I have expired credit cards in your scrapbook room, yep, or old gift cards. When I use my Starbucks gift card, and you totally can use those. I definitely use those as well. So I'm gonna take a little bit of medium now, okay, just a little bit, and I'm gonna spread it onto a sheet of plastic, on your craft mat, whatever you want to use there. You don't need much. Less is more, you can always add, but it's harder to take away. And then I'll just clean whatever I used. If it's paintbrush, just rinse it off, whatever you're putting it onto your mat with. So if you have one of my stencil brushes or a blending tool, blending brush, what you want to do is load it up. I'm going to use an ink blending tool because I feel like most people will probably have one of these. I'm going to show you what it looks like dry, and then if you put a little bit of water on it. So again, just like you would load in ink, I'm going to go in a circular motion, and I just don't want gobs of medium on there. I just want it sitting in the foam. And then in a circular motion, I can start to apply this beautiful metallic iridescent blue glaze. It is not going to, it will dry, so you have to put a little bit of medium on here and start blending again. This is where your mister can come in handy because it will just extend how far the product will go by just putting a blast of water on your mister, and it just makes it a little juicier, and then I can blend in there, okay, in a circular motion. Biggest thing, my friends, is you don't want a ton of medium in your tool because it's very easy to push that underneath the stencil. Okay. If I was using the stencil brush, I would do the same thing. In a circular motion, load my stencil brush, and then just go in there and load it up. I'm going to do a rectangle of pattern. You do whatever makes you happy. And we're going to do this on the front and the back, and then it's going to be dry instantly. You're going to find that this doesn't take that long, and that is why if we would have been live in a class together, I thought it was a good idea because everybody could whip through, play with a little bit of mixed media, and not have a ton of cleanup or anything. Okay, so I'm going to go in here, I'm just going to quickly finish this, and I'm going to flip it and do it on the other side, and I can't wait to reveal it. Have you guys, anybody taken it off yet and see how pretty this looks? I love it. Okay. So I'm not doing it solid. I like some areas to be light and some areas to be a little darker. If I wanted to build up some areas, I would just go over it again. So I will do that quickly just so you can see some areas will have more medium and some areas have less. And it makes it a little bit more interesting than just doing it all in the same kind of consistency of color. So let's see what we get. Oh, very pretty. Very pretty. And see any edges that look a little bit thicker, I will take my stencil brush, and if you just kind of rub over it, it just kind of softens those edges out a bit. And now when you look at this, you have this, oh, look at that. The green and blue metallic, kind of like rainbow fish scales. I love it. I love this color. It's so pretty. The heavier it is, the thicker it goes on, the more you'll see that kind of green shine to it. So I'm going to, oops, watch when you take your tape off. See what I just did? I tore the cardstock. This is not foundations paper, so it's a little bit softer. Just be careful. And I'm going to do the same thing to the back. Remember, I was trying to keep it all pretty simple so that we could just whip through this. So go ahead, do the same thing to the back, and then when you're done, either sandwich your stencil in some wet paper towel or give it a rinse and clean your tool as well. And I'm going to go in there, do the same, less is more. I can always add, but I can't take away. put that down. Clean my palette knife. How are we all doing? Is it good? Just refreshing because something weird was going on there. Yay! Question. Any tip to keep the glaze from drying out? My iridescent one dried out on me. First tip is the obvious, and with any mediums, it's not like other products. You need to use them. These are all stored in plastic containers, so you will find the shelf life with any medium. I bet if you buy paint, anything, and if you leave it for too long, will dry out. So it's an obvious tip, but you want to use it. The other thing is you can put you want to keep as much air out of here as possible, because these lids, plastic lid, plastic jar, is put some press and seal or saran wrap as a layer in between, and that will help. But I won't lie to you, Meredith, they'll dry out. You have to use the mediums. So it's one of those things, like I remember back in the day, and if you guys have followed for a long time, I was big into, what were those beeswax glazes? I'm forgetting what they're called. But if you've taken classes with me, I was teaching with the, and you gotta watch too, I find some of the foam, the mediums eat away at the foam. What were they called? Trying to remember. Inca Gold. So I was very big into Inca Gold, and I didn't use them for a while. I went open them all, they were all dried out. All of them went in the garbage. So it's not even just my mediums. Anything that you use that is a wet medium and how they're stored, they won't last forever. So that would be my first tip, because we're friends, and you know I would tell you. The biggest tip is use it. Don't be a collector of mediums. It's one of those things that they won't last, and it won't matter whose brand it is. It's the kind of container they're in. They're not completely airtight. So as soon as air gets in, if you didn't have the lid on nice and tight, it will dry out and be garbage. It's sad, but it happens. So I'm just going over with my stencil brush because I see little nubbins were coming off of my ink blending tool. And I'm going to do that again. Just kind of wiping them off because that's crazy. Okay. And gently remove my washi tape, and that's it. So to clean this stuff, yeah, Glad Press and Seal, super handy. So when you're done, you put a sheet, and you'll watch Tim does it, like he was doing a live today. And I only popped on there to say hi, and all of his containers of medium have Glad Press and Seal across the top. And it's great for cleaning up glitter and stuff too, so it's a good tool in your craft room. So hopefully that's helpful. That was a great question. So I'm going to just quickly, when you're cleaning these, I try to do double duty. And I will clean it with my stencil brush, because I'm cleaning my stencil brush and stencil at the same time, right? And you notice I have a dirty paper towel because I reuse my paper towels until they're garbage. So I'm trying to reduce my carbon footprint, and I'll use a lot of cloths as well. I buy a package of cotton dishcloths and use those as well. So that is just a quick way to clean it. You could leave it to soak, but this medium was a different factory. So you will notice that this one is totally different, my gold iridescent and silver. It has more properties, almost like a white glue. So you will find that it's a little gummier, okay? So it doesn't go on as hard as the other mediums. So that's it, good enough for now. I always say keep your stencils clean, because then your pattern, you won't lose the integrity of the little tiny areas by having tons of medium cleaned up, or tons of mediums layered up. So then I can just set all this aside. You could miss this if you wanted to use it again, and do the same. Just kind of press it until the medium is off at least the top layer of the foam, okay? And it will come right off while it's wet. it cleans very nicely. Okay, good enough. And let's move on. So clean up your area. That's all we're doing for the mixed media, because I think it's enough just to kind of play with the medium, knowing you could totally use this as a texture paste. Yes, it is Jennifer McGuire's husband was part of the team that created Press and Seal. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, he definitely was. So it is a big card maker tool too. There are lots of things you can do with it in your craft room. I think people use it with their dies and lots of different things. So definitely check for Pinterest hacks. All right, let's get to building some of this book. Yeah, Ken McGuire, love it. Here we go. And let's put that away. Are we ready, friends? So kind of clean up your area. If you notice, this is pretty much dry already because we put it on in or applied it in such a thin layer. But I love it. So no matter which pattern you have, you'll have a pretty result. Okay, and now you have that whole container. You can use it, like I said, like this, like a texture paste. You can put it in a mister bottle and make your own tinted mist. Just watch, because it will clog, because it is like they're heavier, bigger molecules in it. So just be careful with that, but definitely use it because it will dry out. But you'll find that this one is definitely looser, more less viscous than some of my other mediums. What other kinds of mediums do you apply with a stencil brush? Lots of mediums. My gold glaze, I use it with art crayons. I use it with my inks. So I just love that the stencil brush, the bristles are nice and stiff. So it makes putting on thicker mediums in a light kind of ink style really fun. I can't wait to try that again on my own. See, you can do the things, Jennifer. People are always nervous with the mixed media, and that's why definitely check out my videos and join me on Friday nights. I do Friday Night Live every Friday at 8 p.m. for the most part Eastern time, and we do different techniques every single week. And I have tons of ladies and guys that are there now that never would have done it on their own, and they love it now. Okay, so definitely want to check that out. Okay, friends, let's start. So to begin, for time, let's clip, and then we'll come back and start doing a little building. Okay, so what we're going to do is put the pieces together for each, flip it, and then we'll flip it back and start gluing and assembling. All right? So I'm going to grab the pieces we need. I will show you, and you're going to clip and flip. And then we will come back and add, not the ephemera, I'll just explain that at the end, and then you can add later, because it takes a little while, and if you're like me, that's the longest part. I have to put my stickers on a certain way, put my 3D foam dots on the back, so it takes a little while. So the first piece that we need is the 3.5 by 8-inch piece that's on the front. That's our front cover. Okay, so you need this piece. The other thing, everything else on here is ephemera, but what you do need is out of that last paper we cut, of those long strips, you need the one that says things to do. Right? Yes. Okay, so you need the strip that says the things to do. So that's all we need for the cover. We are going to cut that to make it a tag shape. So, yep, right, Kari? Clip, flip, and sip. Stay hydrated while we're working. So my little flag banner corners I cut down about 1.5 inches. So what you can do is just snip it with your scissors, or you could measure. So you just want to go on an angle and cut that shape, and then what I'll often do is just flip it to the other side and use that as a guide to cut the other side. Okay, if you have a square punch, A lot of people will feed into their square punch to do this. And here's the other thing. We Are Memory Keepers has, and I just ordered them to put in my store because I'm very excited about them, new tag punches coming out. They arrive in the warehouse next week, and you may have seen some of the design team for American Crafts using them, but there are 3 new punches coming out that do the flags, that do different types of tops. So I can't wait to get my hands on those. So that's all you're going to do is make a little flag, or pardon me, a tag shape out of the top, and clip this for now, and let's flip it like we're building a book. Okay, so normally we'd flip like this, but for now we can flip like this. Okay, so that's all you need, and I will, like I said, at the end I'll go through where you can find all the bits. So what do we need for the back of this one is the hello paper. So see that there? So go into your stack now and find the long strip of hello. And when we go to assemble that, you are going to need to trim it a bit to fit, right? So just decide, I kind of went like this, and I know I want kind of an even border. And I don't get too fancy, I just want like this. And you can, let's see, so we can figure out the angle. I'll just fold that back. Right? So now I kind of can see my angle, and I'm just going to go like this. When it moves on you is never a good thing. You could measure it and just cut it, but you just want this to fit in here as if it is a tag shape as well. So see what I did? I just line it up, I folded it over the edge, and then just followed that angle going in about 1/4 inch. So I just folded it, flip it, and now I have the angle is there, and then I can just trim it following that guideline, but going in about 1/4 inch. And then it's close enough, right? And then all you'll do is trim the top, which, because I don't want to cut it crooked, I'll just use my paper trimmer. And again, trim about 1/4 inch off the top. And that will end up being attached on there, okay? We can come back and make any adjustments, but that is for that piece. The next piece in the book is the piece we just created using the glaze. So that will be the next page in the book, and then you just need the 2 mats that were actually with hello, those 2 yellow animal print. And for now, we'll just clip it. Because we can come back and glue, but I like, then we have everything, our whole mess is cleaned up, and then we can come back and assess. So then flip it like it's a book, and let's see what we need for the back. How's everybody doing? You all doing okay out there? I so wish we were in the room together so I could see you and smile at you. So imagine it, I'm smiling at you right now. So when you flip, the back of this one is just going to be those 2 orange mats we cut out of the ready-made backgrounds. So just the 2 mats are what's going to go on the back of that. So I will look, I put them in here somewhere. Where did you put that one, Vicki? Look at, I was so proud of myself. I thought it was so organized, and now I don't know where I put those. So just give me a minute. And I will go through my stack and try to figure out, I don't know where I put them. Anybody else with me? Anybody else lose their stuff? We cut them, I remember doing it. So let me look, slow down. They should be right there. Give me a memento. and see what Vicki did with her crazy self. Oh, there they are. Yay! Okay, I wasn't losing my mind. I just misplaced. Okay, so that is it. These will just go on there when you're ready. You can pop them up if you want to. You can do whatever makes you happy. So there, now we have our bits for the 2 first pages. Didn't lose it, but I cleaned up my mixed media. So we'll catch up the first couple of pages later for sure. Because you know what, Rebecca? At the end, it's all that's going to be left, right? So I always say, just follow along wherever I'm at, and it makes it a little easier, right? So if we were looking at this as a flip, we have done then those 2 pages. This piece, the postcard piece, is out of your ephemera pack. So go ahead and in the bottom part of your ephemera pack, you are going to see a postcard. I love the size of my ephemera. There are always big pieces in my ephemera pack. I have found lately some companies, their ephemera is so stinking small. I'm like, this does not work for a 12 by 12 scrapbooker. The scale is all off. It's been driving me batty. Because I'm like, obviously whoever's making this doesn't scrapbook, because if every piece of ephemera is 2 inches or smaller and all the same scale, makes it very hard for layering. So go ahead and grab your postcard and then flip it, and the piece on the back is going to be that one that we cut that I think has the houses on there. Their side are stars. Let's find. Hi Paige, that's funny. I just asked for my ephemera to be made smaller. Not all of it. I don't mean all of it, right? But I'm saying some scale of the ephemera. I just used another brand, and you know, the whole thing was this big. And then all of their sticker sheet was this big, and the sticker book was this big. And I'm like, if I'm doing a double page layout, and my whole ephemera pack is this big, what do you do with that, right? I feel like you need big, medium, small, and extra small. Like you need all of the sizes, right? So when you get your postcard, this piece is going to have the 4 corners rounded, and it's the one with the stars. And I'll tell you the size. I haven't been doing that. I apologize. Is 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to round the 4 corners, and look it. Go ahead and stick it down if you want to. But let me show you something before you do that. Just always keeping in mind, because it's a flip book, that some of these pages go upside down when you flip it, right? So let's look at that card. So you can make that decision, right? When I built my book, I didn't build the pages. So when you flip it, I didn't build it so everything is upside down. Do you know what I'm saying? I built my pages like I was turning a page rather than flipping a page up. So you can totally make that decision when you build, if you want to put your stickers and such on, so when you flip, you're reading it the same on both pages. Totally personal preference, right? So I'm going to take that postcard that looks like this. So the hole's going to be punched on the postcard end, not where you could use this for journaling. And then I'm going to put it so the dark bit is at the bottom. Does it matter? No, friends. It's just, I know some of you it has to look exactly the same. So that's why I explain that. But if you were in a class with me, I don't care if you switch it, do your own thing. I always say, you paid to be here. If you leave happy with what you're making, I'm happy too. I do not have control issues over you having, ooh, somebody dropped something upstairs. You having to do it exactly like I did. Sorry, you're in the Boutin house, right? So the kitchen is above me and somebody just dropped something. So I didn't fall off my chair. So don't worry about me. We're good. Okay? So I'm going to put that in my pile. Yay! So we're getting to one of our pages. That'll be our first interactive page. So see this page with staycation? Grab that one out of your stack because it's in order. If you put it all back like this, we're going to build in order. So this is the next ready-made background. We're going to trim the barcode off the top and round, well, don't round the, yeah, go ahead, round the 4 corners. because sometimes the paper would be too thick when we do the back side of this. Is going to be a pocket to put two pieces into your corner rounder. Unless you have a corner chomper, then you could chomp through anything. So this is the page, and then I just took the top off. We are going to round the four corners, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And yay, that Paige is here. Hello, Paige Evans. I am a super fan of her as being an awesome friend, and super fan of her amazing talent. Love it. Okay, so that's our page. What do we need next is this piece that has this lovely crosshatch on it, right? So let's find that in our stack of all of our pre-cut pieces. It's this one. So the piece that we cut all of the little Polaroids out of, we'll keep that clipped, but that is our mat for this page. Okay, I'm going to clip it for now. I'm not going to stick it. So these paper clips are American Crafts, and they discontinued them, and it makes me so sad. And they didn't only discontinue them, but they're sold out. So I usually have those in my shop, and no more. No more. I was very sad. They came in 2 sizes, and I find it's super helpful when you're crafting to stay as organized as possible. So for the back of this one, it's going to be a pocket. But remember, I didn't build it. So when you flip, it all looks upside down, because I did it like I was thinking I would look at a page and I would turn it like this. So again, that's personal preference, but I'm going to grab the pieces we need for this page now. So it is the back side of what we just made. If you are gluing down, just be aware of how you want your page to go, okay? So for the back side of mine, I would turn it like a book, and my pocket would go on the bottom. So what I will do now is the base of this is this piece here with the big leaves on it. That's what's going to go on the back. So you can go ahead and stick that down. I have my paper clip on there, so I just have to make sure I put my bits back on the back. Let's stick this guy down. So I just centered it and stuck it. I am obviously using my paper trimmer. I don't care what the bottom looks like, because I'm going to cover it all anyway. But there, now we have our back covered. And look what this is. This is a pocket. So the bottom is going to be a pocket, and all of these pieces go inside of it. All right? So we need the base of our pocket was the other half of that orange paper we cut. And that's going to get adhered on the bottom, and it will be a bottom pocket. So the first thing I'm going to do with that is round my 2 bottom corners. And then when you adhere this, you want to remember that adhesive should only go on the sides and the bottom with the rounded corners. If you put adhesive at the top, it's a beautiful mat. It will no longer be a pocket because you won't be able to access it. Whenever I do anything interactive, I use double-sided tape because I feel as though it has a little bit more power, and your pages aren't going to come apart. And to be honest with you, my favorite is the red line double-sided tape for any kind of mini books. So I use the Sukaniko, and this one is scrapbook.com. But my favorite for mini albums and anything interactive is the red line tape. Okay? Sukwang! I just like to say it, right? So go ahead and see how my adhesive is not on the top edge. It just goes the sides and the bottom. And then I'm going to glue it like this. But remember, my book flips like it's a book. If you're doing it because you want to see the top and the bottom, then you would make sure your words were not upside down. It's a lot to think about, so don't think too hard. You're not going to wreck anything. You just want to make sure that whatever you're doing, you're consistently doing it through the whole album. And I did, like I said, I built it like it was a book that turns like this. So you just always want to be aware that whatever's on the back side isn't upside down. So then I just take it, and before I lay it right down, because once you stick it, you're committed, and just line up all of my edges and then go ahead and burnish it. If you have a bone folder or a brayer, you can press that in there. But now look, we have a nice little bottom pocket. And like I said, just make sure your edges are stuck down. This piece goes on the back, so I can clip that again now that I got my pocket glued on. And the pieces you need for inside your pocket are, we're gonna get these and mat them. So do you have to mat this stuff? You don't. You could just put a photo on it, but I like the opportunity. I could put a little square photo with some journaling. But out of your white mats, please grab the 4.5 by 6 3/4. So you got a big stack. I'm going to go to the bigger pieces to start because I know that will narrow it down. So that is it, 6 3/4 by 4.5. And the other mat is the 4.5 by 5.5. So which one is it? This one? No, that's a 6. Here it is. So it is the 5.5 by 4.5. So those are the two mats you need. Again, the 4.5 by 5.5, which will be in your written instructions as well. And then this one is the 4.5 by 6 3/4. And then this will be much easier. We just need to get those two pieces of pattern paper. So the one that looks like little envelopes, and then the stripes. And then this is out of the piece that we cut apart that had the film strip. You want your packing checklist. So let's find the bits. Oh, right there on my top. And it just makes it easier, right? Just grab the piece that fits. That's it. And these stripes are 2 4 by 6 mats. So just grab one of them. And they're just glued down, so I'm going to go ahead and just stick it. Just stick it. Perfect. I hope you're all doing okay. If you're not, just let me know. Ayúdame! Do you need help? Are you good? I feel like the pace, I'm trying not to go too fast. There is like a time constraint here, but as long as we get all the pieces together and I explain it, I think we'll be good. Remember, my paper trimmer was jacked, so I'm just cleaning up those edges. If you have a nail file, that is what you need. If you find that the cardstock tears, just file the edges with a nail file. Is super helpful. And with any of these papers, you can use the A or B side, whatever makes you happy, right? And I'm just going to throw that one on there as well. Centered. And put those in my pocket. Okay? So these two will go in your pocket. And then grab the little piece that says packing checklist, and that goes in your pocket. Good job, friends. Okay, very good. I'll put all that back in my album, and let's move on to the next page. Okay, so the next page is in your stack. It's this guy here, but we're going to use the back side first. So grab that painted one, go ahead and trim off or tear off the perforated bit, and just flip it because we're going to use the B side first. You can round the, I only rounded the corners on the left side. So if you look at my page, the corners are only rounded on the left, and I left this as a straight edge. do whatever makes you happy. You could square or round all of the corners. I'm only going to round the top and the bottom on the left side. Okay, grab that beautiful wave paper, and it's going to go like that, just centered again on your page. So it has the sunglasses and the waves. Use whatever side you like. I just love the waves. So I'm going to put that on there. I love the blue. It's so pretty. How are you guys doing it? It's so quiet, right? Because everybody's working away. They're like, sorry, Vicki, I can't take the time to type because I've got to get this done. So go ahead, stick that down. Decide, do you want your waves going down? Do you want your waves going up? You decide on the weather conditions on this page. There we go. Okay. This is going to be a side pocket. So this piece, when we attach it, is a side pocket. And then I just stuck one of our white mats in there with one of my favorite things in my ephemera pack are these little paper clips. So it will just go as a side pocket. So go ahead and grab the other piece of that loveliness. And it's just going to get attached again, only on the top, side, and bottom, not on the open edge. So when you put your adhesive on, make sure you leave one side with no adhesive. Go ahead and glue that down. Again, I use double-sided tape. I always use 1/8 inch double-sided tape because I don't want to lose the real estate in my pockets. So I just tend to like the thinner double-sided tape. I never use liquid glue on this, and you will find if you are not using double-sided tape and you're using a tape runner, your pockets and pieces could come off of the page. I just find the glue is not powerful enough to stick down. Wet glue, if you use and you press it in, it's going to go into your pocket area. So you're never going to have a full open space there, right? So just keep that in mind that for any interactive bits, I use double-sided tape. Okay? So again, make sure you're aware of which side doesn't have adhesive. And then I'm going to glue this to the side I didn't round the corners on. I'm going to go ahead, line that up, because you are definitely committed when you put this on. And then just press it into place. And now you have an opening for a side pocket. Okay? The piece that I use that goes inside is just one of the white mats, and it is a 6x5. 6x5 in your white mats. That's what goes inside that pocket. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Astrid, that your stuff is going in and out. Here's the plus. Even if you can't play along live, it will still be here. Okay? You will, I know it's frustrating. Do the best you can. And then at least you know, at least it's not one and done, right? That I do this and you can never see it again. So I'm sorry about that. It's very frustrating. I'm not surprised if you're having the heat that we've had here, that thunderstorms are rolling in. So go ahead and slide that 5x6 in there, and we can flip it because we're going to do the back side of this page. So we are not going to glue these down, but knowing that's where I used those 6 Polaroids. So I'm just going to clip it right on that page. And then that's when I was saying that you have white cardstock left over. I just matted those, right? It's 95 there today. That's just craziness. Where do you live, Sue? Remind me. Where are you? I say no thank you to 95 degrees, right? Ugh. Okay. So now, right, if we had flipped our book, now we're on to this page here, which is the pink. Pretty, very pretty. And you have lots of places for photos. What is SEWI? I don't know what that is. Remember, if you want to win at Trivial Pursuit, and I am beating you, and you get to pick the final question. If you pick geography, you will win, because my brain has no capacity to remember that. I will be so good at all of the other trivial information, but I do not know geography. So thank you. Was that Southeast Wisconsin? I would never have known what that was. So thank you. Thank you. So when you take this, we're going to cut a V in the bottom. So you have two options. You can find the center of the page, cut up, and then cut into the V. I like to put my corners together and just make sure you cut from the open edge. If you cut from where it's attached, it will be a pennant instead of a flag banner, okay? So yes, it's very nice here today. Super hot, 93 degrees. Here, I was out by the pool for a little bit before coming in to teach, and tomorrow it is supposed to be a crazy warm day tomorrow too. Rich is golfing, and then I said I'm totally sitting by the pool too. So that's how I cut my little banner at the bottom. Okay, so I know somebody's going to ask me how deep. How deep did you go, Vicki? Oh, let's measure it on the piece I just threw away somewhere. Where'd you throw that? I'd say that looks like to me about 1 inch or 3/4, 1 1/4 inches. That's how high I went up. That's where that went up, 1 1/4 inches. Okay, so that is all you need for this page, because all you're going to add on there is the pretty ephemera. And see this little piece? Just kind of remember that some of your scraps you can use as flag banners. So you might cut that off of the perforated top, or it could be a leftover piece when we cut that first, because that page is the first page, the floral and pink dot. And then the back side of this one is just a mat, which is actually that paper that the pink dot came off of. So go ahead and grab that floral piece and round the 4 corners and stick it down. See, we have those little scraps left, so don't discard them. You're going to use them later. Actually, it might be helpful. Well, no, I'll get it later. I would lose something that's that small. So round the 4 corners. Are you in the house, Catherine? Are you sitting outside and enjoying my class poolside? And has Jack got the egg out? Is he going to prepare something delicious? Smoked ribs? See, I wish I would have come over. Jack could have cooked for us. Would have been awesome. I'm sure Jack would think so too, right? Go ahead and stick your piece down. I am jealous of all of you who have pools today. Well, I get that, Jessie, because today is definitely a pool day. If you have a pool and you're not doing anything else, it's what you should be doing. And this is actually the first day. I only went out for about an hour and then came in and showered to get ready. Because I also decided this year it would be a good idea to buy a whole jungle's worth of plants. And so then what comes with a jungle's worth of plants is you have to water them. So that takes me every day probably 45 minutes to water my plants. So did you notice when I stick this down, friends, I left about a 1/2 inch at the top just because that's where my binding hole is going to go. Okay? Kids were swimming even though it wasn't heated. And I'm not going to lie, we have a heater on our pool and I set it at 88. That's, I find comfortable. I want to go in the pool at 88. It's still refreshing, but it doesn't make me not want to dip my chest in it. And any women know, right? That's the hardest part for me to get into the pool is my top half. So I love it. Okay, friends? So that's it for this page. Stick it in your pile. Right? And then the rest is a sticker for later. And now we have this page, which is going to be out of your ephemera pack. It's the passenger ticket and boarding pass. And then we're going to put that little piece on the back of it. So let's grab out of our ephemera pack the ticket. Yours is set at 84. Yeah, I know. We set it at, it's 88. That is my magic number, Jen. I can't get in the pool. And now my kids are like, oh, it's too cold. I'm like, you brats. You're lucky. Back in the day, man, we swam in a lake. We didn't have anything heated. So here we go. We have this ticket. The piece that goes on the back is in our stack we cut apart. It's the receipt. You are here in menu. Don't be sad about that, because don't forget you have another sheet if you want to use those somewhere. So I am just going to flip it like a book and attach this on the back. Mine is a little wide. I'm going to cut some of it off. Just because I want it to be, have a little bit more of a border around my piece. And stick it on, centered on your ticket. So remember I was saying, friends, that a lot of this flip book, and probably in Heidi's book and maybe other projects you're working on this weekend, require you to print smaller sizes of photos. My favorite app to use, and if you took my photography class, my iPhone or phone photography class, we talked about this app, game changer. It's called Print to Size. If you have a pen, write this down. It only works with Apple products, but it's called Print to Size. Today, if you watched last night on my Friday Night Live, the layout that I did, that I moved, so I can't even show you, had all tiny little 3x3s on it. This morning, I took pictures of Devin and I, because she joined me last night for my Friday Night Live. It was hilarious, crazy. Sorry it went off the rails a little bit. And I went right on my phone this morning while I was outside, edited 3 photos, dropped them into a 4x6, and all I had to do is drag my finger, and I could size them to anything I need. It is one of the best apps I've ever found. If you want to use your phone photos off your iPhone, and then I will print them on any printer I use. So you know me, if you followed for a while, my favorite printer is the Epson PictureMate 400, and I literally can take a photo, edit it, put it in print to size, drop in whatever I want to fit on a 4x6, 5x7, 8.5x11, and print them in minutes. So it is a game changer, especially if you're like, these ladies all using these smaller sizes. I hate them. How do I use them? That's your magic, okay, is that app. And I'll talk about it in the live on Facebook as well, so it gives you time to write it down. But that's how I would put mini photos on here, because you could totally do it like a little film strip. Or what was that called when we used to go in the photo booth? Like a little photo booth strip. So your next piece is going to be, oh, we're getting to some heavy duty. I've warmed you up, and now I'm going to show you. So grab the page with the orange circles. It's the next one in our stack. And we're using the back side of it, okay? So grab that and grab the rainbow stripes and glue it centered on this page. And then flip it, and we're going to do a bunch of stuff now. Get ready for it. So Catherine, are you there? I have a little bit of time, right? If we go over a little bit, right? Or how fast do I have to be working? Because if I don't want to mess with anything. Epson comes with an app too. I've used all of them. My favorite, oh yes, and it's good for Samsung. So if you don't have an iPhone. If you do have an iPhone, check out the Print to Size. Game changer in ease of use. But yes, definitely if you can't access that because you don't have an iPhone, then that's a great option as well. So you're going to stick this one down just centered on your page. I'm going to cut a little bit more off of mine because I might have been a little heavy-handed when I was trimming it. The barcode off. And use whatever side you like. Yes, you can go right until you're 5 o'clock. Okay. Is that when I have to be on the live? I don't remember, because now I'm working, I don't remember the schedule. So I just want to know, is that in lieu of the live, or I can still do both? So I plan accordingly. Yes, your live is at 5. Perfect. Okay, we're good then. It will be perfect timing for what we need to do. So now, friends, turn it like a book and look at this page. So there's a lot of business going on. Lots of business. See, this page is a pocket with a mini book with side pockets in it. So we're going to build this, okay? So all you need is the bottom is one of the white strips that we cut. That's going to be the base of this pocket. and it is the 6 by 2 3/4 inch piece is what the pocket on the bottom of this will be out of cardstock. So go ahead in your stack and find the 6 by 2 3/4 inch piece. Many they're torn apart. We'll have to wash you the heck out of it. That's crazy, Natalie. But you know, we know that that happens, but let me know, because if Catherine doesn't have more where she can replace it, I might have one. Because now it's hard, right? This product line is been gone for a while, but you know we'll take care of you, okay? So this piece is what is going on the front of that bottom pocket. So go ahead and stick that down. It happens sometimes, right? It just, when those huge packages come from overseas, sometimes that happens. So it does, it happens. Go ahead and center it on your white piece. Okay, and that's going to be the base of your pocket. For sure, my friends. This is one of those things too. If you sew, you may want to sew this pocket because you're sticking a whole huge album in it. Or you might even want to put your tape on the back page and on the front page just for super powerful adhesion. But you're going to make a pocket out of this, so remember, we only put adhesive on the bottom and sides, not on the top edge, or it's a mat. And stick it down. But I know that my pocket is not stuck down as well as it could. And I did not use the red line, just like I'm not today, because I need to order some. But sometimes it can be a little tricky, okay? So go ahead, stick this to the bottom, and then let's make that fun book. Okay? And when we make that book, there might be a little trimming that we need to do, okay? Because when you start putting them all the sizes together, as you layer the pieces, you sometimes lose. Eek. Well, I'm committed. I'll just have to trim it. It's a little bit wider, but that's okay. So now we have a pocket on this page. Yes, and you guys know too that definitely just email after. And we will deal with those things, because it's hard when we're in the middle of a class. I always say, you know, we always have your back. Just let us know after and we will take care of you. Okay, I'm just trimming because my piece was a little bit wide. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to make this little book. This little book. So you need to grab the next 3 pieces in your stack. The next 3 pieces in your stack, and this is what we are going to create this book with. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut the barcode. I stack mine together and I'm going to trim the barcodes off, or the little, not barcodes, the strips off, if I can, all at the same time, so that my papers are all exactly the same length, because I am trimmer challenged sometimes. So I like to put it on like that, and then at least they're all the same. So what you're going to do is take these, and you can either score it and fold it in half, but I'm going to just take these pages and fold it in half like this, because then I know my edges will be straight. And remember, my trimmer doesn't cut straight, so we'll see what happens. So I'm doing that, and then whatever you have that's kind of an edge that a pen would work, bone folder, and I'm going to do that, okay? I'm going to do it with all of the pieces. But the difference with these is they're going to be folded now with the art in the center. This one is the outside cover, so the art's on the outside. These are going inside, so I'm going to fold all of these with the art inside. I hope you're all doing okay out there. Okay. Any questions? Everybody's okay? I know some of you probably can't even chat on here if you haven't signed into your Google account. So, I see ya. I hope everything's going okay with this. I hope the instructions have been pretty clear. I hope my speed is okay. I hope, first and foremost, you guys are having fun, right? It is a fun one, right, Catherine? Because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't do mini books. I like 12 by 12 pages. And I'm like, it's fun sometimes to just switch it up. And you can gift these. Like if it's something you don't want to use, it's a fun gift, right? So what this will be now is just this 3-pocket little side story to our album. So keeping in mind when we go to stick this together, we're going to want to make sure one side does not have adhesive. Okay, so you may find, and I'm going to show you as we go, because we're going to glue a section together, and then we want the outside cover to be slightly longer than this, because as it folds and wraps, you could have a wonky edge. So just kind of, I'll show you as we go, okay? So we're going to grab now the little chartreuse, right? Chartreuse, right? And the bubble paper. Grab those two, leave this one aside. So grab the bubble paper and the chartreuse. And you are going to add adhesive on the sides of one and attach it, lining up your edge like this. So this part is going to be open, okay? So go ahead wherever, I don't care which side you stick the adhesive, but I'm going to fold it like this, and I'm going to do this. You keep talking back to me. I love it. I love it. You know, if we were in a class, we'd have lots of side conversations and laughs. We always laugh a lot in my classes. So it's kind of hard for me to put my comedy show on when I'm all by myself. So hopefully you've still smiled and giggled. But this is one of those classes that, you know, we got work to do. So there's not a lot of Vicki chatter time. It's more like, okay, let's keep trucking. So I'm going to take this now, right? And I'm going to adhere these two pieces. Does that make sense? It doesn't matter which way because the art is fine. So I'm going to attach the tape. You could tape this side. I'm not going to because we're going to cover it. It won't matter. So if you want that step, go for it. But I'm not doing it, okay? My biggest thing is I want it to line up at this edge. Don't worry so much if it doesn't line up perfectly at this edge. We'll fix it when we wrap the cover. So I want this edge to line up, okay? So I'm going to take my pieces off and I'm going to glue it down to make my first side pocket. And there is so much more embellishing and everything you can do in this book, but like always, we have a little bit of a time constraint here, right? So I had to kind of rein it in on how much we were going to do with this. So now, look it, I have created my first side pocket, okay? So now the only other piece we have is this one, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. When I put this in here now, do you see, because you're losing, like you have this is hanging out there, right? So what I did is I'm going to stick that all on my trimmer, and I'm going to trim about, I don't know, 1/8 of that off, because every time you add a piece on, it's going to stack wider and wider till, if in a perfect world, if we were cutting this out of a larger piece of paper, I would have been able to cut and make up for that. So we have to go the reverse and just cut part of that off the edge. So if you have an X-Acto knife and a cutting mat, you could do that. Or I'm going to just try to stick all of it on my mat here and cut part of it off. And then if I have to, like the blade's probably not going to go deep enough, but it's okay because it will kind of score it. And then I can just cut that. Like I'll open the book. Whoop, maybe. Oh, it did. It did. I just have to get the end of it with my scissors. So it worked. Yay, I'll take it. Scissors, Vicki. There they are. I have piles of crap everywhere, right? I'm pretty sure that although I would love us to be together, I would not be able to be this productive. I 100% agree with you, Kari. We probably would get a quarter of this done because we would be telling stories. I'd be asking questions. We would have a chat fest. So see, now that I cut that bit off, it will stack nicely inside my little book. Every page is going to be a side pocket. So when you go to adhere the front and the back, you are going to put adhesive, see, here, and glue it, like, pardon me, here and here, glue, and then open the back and do the same. So I am going to do those things with you right now. I'm going to put the adhesive on the bubble side. Yay! You're doing great, my friends. This is going very, very well. Hi, Ellen. What are you saying? I'm not sure if I would be able to craft in person. My stuff is everywhere. I would need a table all by myself. Yes. Hi, Susan. How are you, friend? I appreciate that you are giving us so much content. I'm following along at my own pace and will finish later, 100%, and you know you totally can do that. And even when we have been in person together, Susan, you know I run my class the exact same way, right? Do whatever makes you happy. If you're happy, I'm happy. That's how I always teach my classes. If you're happy, I'm happy. So I'm going to put this in here now and attach that to that front. Ooh. So yes, my bubble came first. Does it matter? No. But my bubble is the first paper, and then that is at the back in my book. So you just kind of want to make it straight. And if everything isn't straight in there, you can always come and just trim it, right? So that looks pretty good. I'm going to take that and attach it to the cover, right? Adhesive only at the sides. If you wanted to secure it a little bit at the back, you could put a little piece there. Your choice, okay? But I'm gonna go in, and I know it has about a lip like that. That could be trouble putting it in like that, but I think I'm okay. I'm still okay, okay? So now I have my front side pocket, my middle side pocket, and we'll adhere the back for our back side pocket. And then we have a little mini album in a mini album. How fun is that, right? So there is tons, like if you are going on a little road trip, or you just want to make a gift for somebody, maybe you went on a fun trip and your mom is like, oh, I'd love pictures of that and my grandkids. You could just make a little book for her. And what's nice with a project like this, like, look, friends, you have enough that you could make 2 of these, right? So if you have a mother-in-law and your mother, and you don't want to make anybody mad, you could make a second one. So that's fun. So I am just going to try to line this up as best as I can now to make my side pockets. Yay! Very good, very good. And then I will just add a little pressure to make it lay as flat as possible. I like to go in and just kind of burnish so my adhesive is good. Okay, and now you have a little mini book in your mini book. Okay, love it. So what do we need? We need those cards that fit on the side, which you will have in your stack of white cardstock. You should have 3 that are exactly the same size. And that's what I used for my side pocket. And now you can put a photo on the front and back. Whatever you want to do there, friends. And if your adhesive is wider than what mine was, you might need to adjust a little bit. But just go ahead and slide these. If you need a size, they were the 5 by 4.5. Very good. I love this. And here's funny. Like, think of how long ago I created this project. So it's kind of really awesome that it's new to me too. It's new to me too. You should have saw when Catherine went, okay, I'm going to need your instructions for this class. And I went, oh my goodness, Catherine, do you know what happened? I was cleaning and I almost threw this whole class out. The project, all of it, because I was like, what is this for? Oh, I'm just cleaning up. I'm going to get rid of it. I don't need it. So almost threw out my cutting diagram, all of it almost went in the garbage. And then went, oh, dummy, that's for that class. So it almost all went in the garbage. So there. And then that last one. So now you have a little mini book that will go into your pocket. So see what I'm saying? This pocket needs to be pretty secure. So if you want to sew on it, if you sew, might not be a bad idea. But then that slides into your little mini book. It's pretty thick because this paper is really heavy, right? Yay! And then I'll talk to you, because we only have a couple pages to go here, and then I'm going to talk to you about all the stickers and ephemera and bits. But we're doing very, very good for time. Almost. I'm only going to go a little bit over, right? Yay! Okay, so that flipped like a book, and it goes into my stack like this. That should be up, because that's the last page we just made. And then I flip like this. Oh, I love this paper. Grab the rainbow paper. What did I do here? Oh, that's what. I did some fancy. Grab your rainbow paper and your blue paper, and this is going to be adhered for another big side pocket. So in my book, this is a big side pocket. Okay? Big side pocket. So we will trim the little piece off the top, adhere the 3 sides, and it opens off the right-hand side with the rainbow on top. Oh, that's a good idea. So Charlotte used foam tape for her pocket so that she had more depth in it. That's super clever. Oh, your tiny attacher is a great idea too. Good ideas, friends. That's why it's so fun to craft in a group, because all of the shared knowledge is always super beneficial, right? Why are we laughing? What happened there? I missed it. My husband and 2 sons just left the house. Freedom! Right? I know, I dance around the house sometimes. Like the other night, Rich went somewhere, like it was the first time I think I was alone in my house for, I don't know, 1.5 years. I was like, oh my goodness, nobody ever leaves me alone. And I love them, but sometimes you do. Like, I know, and I bet you guys are laughing because you, having met me, you would think, Vicki probably loves chatting and talking all the time. Sometimes I just want to be by myself with no one asking me for anything, right? Not sure where y'all are in the live, but I am loving this little book. Thank you so much, Lisa. And here's the other amazing thing when we're doing live classes. If the pace is too fast for you, you can just pause and work at your own pace. You don't have to do it actually live with me, right? I need some me time. Like every now and again, it would be nice. And don't forget, like I would have been with you guys this weekend traveling solo, which I love. I have no qualms with getting on an airplane all by myself. And I will go on side trips. Like say Catherine lived maybe in Newfoundland or lived somewhere. I would have no problem to go teach at the event and then take a weekend and go travel by myself. No qualms with it at all. So it has been, it'll be 2 years before I do anything like that. And I have to say, I am looking forward to it. I'm going to put my dots on the top, okay? So don't forget, the blue is on the back. I don't remember, but now I'm committed. So that's what the back's going to look like. I have no adhesive on the this side, and I'm going to go ahead and glue this down, just making sure it's all square. And now I have another big side pocket, right? A big side pocket. What is a tiny attach? Ellen, it is a mini stapler that Tim Holtz, it's a Tim Holtz product, and it just is tiny, tiny staples. So it's called a tiny attacher because he has fun names for all of his stuff, right? So remember we still had that little piece of cardstock? That's what I put in my side pocket. And if you want to adjust the size of it, you can. Just make sure when you punch your binding hole at the top, you take these bits out. So that's what I did. It went in the side for my side pocket for that page. Okay? So the only thing we have left now is the back page. Heck yes! That was awesome. Heck yes! So I am going to find, so obviously we don't use everything we cut, but we need those 2 4x6s we have left. And when we go through, I might find where some of this went, because we might have places for it and I just missed it. So we need one of the house papers, and I went with the one with all the pink in the bottom corner, and it's going to go on the back. Okay. And then I used one of the paper airplanes. Let's go. And they go like this when you put it together. Just kind of shimmy shimmy. Cocoa pop. Shimmy shimmy bop. Okay. And when you go to do it, you're going to just layer all your bits. So for me, I'm going to clip it, because now all I want to do is run through everything, right? I'm going to run it through everything. So let's flip it right back to the front and make sure all of our pieces are in order. Any questions at this point before I go through it? I think that I'm super excited because sometimes when you design the classes, you don't know how well they'll be time-wise. And I have to say that it is only 10 minutes over the time. They're not matte, they're just mats. It's not a pocket, Kari. And I'll show you on the album. So now I flipped all my pieces together, and all you have to do is start gluing and embellishing. So let me run through the album and we'll see if any of these extra pieces we have, if we need them. They're mats, yeah. But you will need some of this stuff. So we have it. Because that's really all that scrap we have, right? And this one little piece, and all of that can go in pockets, whatever you want to do with it. And I didn't end up using this, so that's a bonus piece. So let's talk about the album. Cleaning up my bits a little bit, because I am that crafter. I like to be a little bit organized. I find, especially in a class setting, where you have if we were in a room together, you'd have very limited space. Where can we find jump rings? Amazon. Or Staples, Office Depot. It's a 2-inch binder ring, but Amazon, and I would buy them by the bag. Like, that's how I have my jump rings, by the bag. If you see Obed's line, he is an amazing Spanish craft speaking, and I think he is Spanish too, isn't he? I think he lives in Spain. He, with his line, had binder rings in it. I love that. I think they need to come back, the jump rings. But I do think that I've bought mine at we have a place here called Beatty's Basics, which is an office supply store, and I can find all different sizes of jump rings. You might even be able, if you're American, Target or Walmart. But one of the things that I would look at is on Amazon, and you could probably get colored ones too if you wanted to. Okay, friends? So your first page, you have the chipboard butterflies that I added with pop dots. So and you're gonna notice I added some things that aren't in the photo. So that page, there's lots of foam squares. This is a sticker. If you do not own one of these, I find it is a great tool, because if I want to use stickers as and pop them up, I like to put a little bit of baby powder or cornstarch on the back of them and then pop them up. So there are lots of foam dots on here. So this is a sticker, ephemera, that's the piece we cut out of the paper, and this is out of your ephemera pack. And it says, P.S. don't forget to have fun. So that's all the pieces that go on there, lots of pop dots. The back side of this one is just that mat that we added. This page has this is not in the photo. I added it after the fact. So both pieces are off your chipboard. The globe I put with 3D Pop Dot, and then I glue all of the chipboard down. I find the adhesive is not the best on chipboard pieces and chipboard thickers. I always either use wet glue or my tape runner, and I will glue them down, okay? I just don't trust the adhesive. And then this is out of your ephemera pack. I let it hang off the side. And then this is one of the vellum pieces, and then Pop Dot the corners for your mats. Okay, I hope that's all in camera. The back side of that is the 2 orange mats. I Pop Dotted the little chipboard orange flower, and then the sticker here is a little label sticker underneath, like a little tab, and then I have something on my fingernail. And then the other one is but first, and then you can put 2 photos on there. I haven't added at this point anything on here but opportunity for a photo and journaling. And the back side is my favorite thing, shoes, because everywhere I travel I take a picture of my feet and I try to find manhole covers that have the name of the city on it. So you will see in my travel photography, I have them from San Juan. Everywhere I go, I will take a picture of my feet with a manhole cover, or words on the street, because sometimes, like I know when I was in New Zealand, when you cross the road, like it says look, is painted right on the road. I love that. So Travel Line would have had to have shoes in it. So it's the shoe sticker, 2 heart stickers, and then it says let's do it all. This one here is Staycation is popped up. That is a chipboard arrow. And I'm listing all of this now because you guys can come watch the recorded version when you are adhering everything, and just pause after I explain what everything is, stick it down, press play, and move on to the next page, okay? So Staycation is in your ephemera. Weekend Getaway is a chipboard piece. The gold arrow is a chipboard piece. And then the circle is chipboard. And it says this, and then I put loving life. This, loving life. Okay? And then in your pocket is a whole bunch of pretty layered bits. So these stickers say something. Sometimes all you need is a weekend and a good idea. And then the chipboard is wander with a camera sticker. I was there. And then let's is popped up on top in a chipboard arrow. This is cut out of the paper. And then these ones have that little ephemera piece that says passionately curious. And I don't think I put anything on the back one. Going in the right direction here, Vicki. Here is the little tab that goes on with the camera. Here is popped up. It's chipboard. Vacation mode is out of your ephemera pack. It says a trip to remember. It's a sticker. And then your little flag banner is off of the chipboard thickers. Question, Vicki, can you keep it in screen? Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I said. I apologize. Can you see it? I'm doing this, right? Sorry about that. Maybe I missed that page. Did we do that one? Yeah, we've done all of them. Right? So sorry. Is that better? I'll put it down here. I keep lifting it up, but I don't think I need to lift it. This is good. Okay, and then don't forget your mat. Is that better? Yay! Okay, the back side of this. I like that I'm explaining stuff and you can't even see it. So some of these are flat. This one is flat. And then these 3 are popped up. I put the vellum arrow with a gold striped arrow on top, and it says photo op. And then this is totally where I would print little mini photos on here. I think it's really fun, especially when maybe the photo isn't the best quality. If you shrink it down, you still can tell your story, right? And then this one is that little strip that was off of the floral paper. We cut that little side piece. This chipboard says, let the adventure begin. The chipboard flower is popped up, and then there's a little arrow on it. And then you can put a photo and journaling. And the back side of this one just has the mat. This sticker says, I'm not lost, I'm exploring. And then that is a chipboard that says, heck yes. Nothing on this one yet. You can add whatever you want. The back side is the map with the glasses and says so much fun with a little star, all chipboard. Oh, and sticker. So much fun is a sticker. This here is out of your ephemera pack. It's the map that's popped up, a little geo tag with the gold foiling on it, and then that is part of the ephemera, says you are here, and then packing list is out of your ephemera pack. I just layered in the corner. And then for that pocket is the strip that we cut out of that paper. You have happiness, which is out of your ephemera pack. That looks like a Polaroid. This is out of your ephemera pack. It is the little paper clip, a gold dot navy arrow. And then for your little sticker book is, ooh, I'm gonna go there. And it says, get out and explore, ephemera sticker, in the neighborhood, ephemera. And this makes me happy is ephemera. And you can stick more stuff on there, whatever makes you happy. And last, almost last but not least, side pocket. I put a chipboard sticker on the side that says can't wait to go back. Down here layered is favorite things to do chipboard with the chipboard that says a wild adventure. Sunglass stickers are foam dotted up, and then some of the stars from the chipboard sheet there. And it says, ooh, I'm gonna do that. So one is sticker and one is out of your ephemera pack, okay? So just use one or the other. And then the back side, these are mats. And I layered the two mats with lots of foam dots. I put the little envelope, the little camera, which is my favorite ephemera piece out of this collection, is that camera with the camera strap. And then Heck Yes is vellum. Travel, Learn, Grow is your chipboard, and 3 gold stars. Okay? So I hope that's helpful. And we aren't too bad. Like, look at, I had extra time. So I'm going to flip the camera and look at you for a minute, guys. Give you a chance to go to the bathroom, and then I'll meet you on Facebook Live. So just a second. Do you want to see anything close up? So that is, you get to see lots of foam dots. Sorry, I don't paint my nails either. So if you look very closely with all the mixed media I do, doing a manicure is almost lost on me because I have paint always on my fingernails. Okay. Just make sure you put lots of extra adhesive on the bits because I don't want your stuff falling off. So I think that pretty much, have to make sure I lift the camera so you're not looking at my nose because nobody needs to see that. Nobody needs to see that. So I'm going to talk to you for 1 second and then give everybody a second to have a potty break. Take the dog out for a walk, whatever you need. Sorry. Little Blair Witch for a second, right? Oh, there we go. Oh, I'm so shiny. Ooh, ooh. Thank you, friends. That was so much fun. I love that. Really, I went over because 2 hours is impossible for me. And 2 hours with a mini book, and I even reined it in. If you know me, like that's reining it in. You guys have done my classes before. That was reining it in. But so excited that we got through most of it. And now if you haven't had a chance to ask questions because you don't know how on YouTube, save it. And I'm going to come, we're just going to have like a little chat and cocktail or tea or whatever you need while we meet in, give me a few minutes because I'm going to have a quick potty break. And we'll meet at like 5 o'clock, 5:05 on the Facebook page, and any questions that you have. And as well, when Catherine meets up with you guys again, how do you feel? I want to do a giveaway of some sort. So we just got to figure out how that works because it's a little different, right, with international. So I'm going to text with Catherine and we'll figure it out because for sure we're going to have a giveaway. I want to do something fun for Vicki Boutin. .com, or we can do it like just give away some of my product. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out so it's fun for everybody. But that was so much fun. Thank you, thank you, thank you as always for letting me in this instance, come into your home and share a couple of hours of your time doing something I'm super passionate about. And I hope you had as much fun as I did. I really love that. I just made a second one. I have a gift now to give to somebody, right? Or maybe I could give the book away too. So we'll figure it out. But that was so much fun. Where are your earrings from? Lisa, you know, like seriously, if you saw my collection of earrings, and you know, I'm gonna finish with this, and then we'll have a chat. We can talk about anything you want when we go on the Facebook. But I literally probably own hundreds of earrings. So these ones, ooh, I'm gonna say, okay, help me, American friends. What is that really cute shop that has, it's little when you go in the mall, that has clothing and jewelry, and it's a lady's name. Like the name of the shop, I think, is a lady's name. Oh my goodness, my memory is so bad, but that's where I would have got them from, because I know when COVID started, they had like 60% off deals all the time. And not Claire's, because it's clothing. There's ladies' clothing that's very boho. The style is very boho. And it's Francesca's. Thank you, Betsy. Yes, it's Francesca's. I'm pretty sure that's where they would have come from. I love Francesca's jewelry, and one day when I can fit into their clothes, I love their clothes there. But yes, I think they're from Francesca, but I shop everywhere, all of the places, right? So thank you so much, friends. I am going to go and have a potty break, and I'll meet you on Facebook. If you have any questions, let me know there. I love Charlotte Russe too. Devin likes that store. That's a little young for me, but I could buy jewelry there. So is Francesca's, but whatever. I'm still 16 at heart. So that was so much fun. And Catherine, if you're still here, thank you for this. Oh my goodness. My cup runneth over. And I will meet you on Facebook. And I will definitely scan while you guys are having supper. I'll scan and we'll figure out to put it on the files or guides page. I love your guts too. Oh, I love you guys so much. You just don't even know. If we would have been in person, I would have hugged all of you, even the ones who don't like to be touched. I don't respect your personal space. I would have been all up in your business. So I will scan this. So that's helpful if you ever want to recreate and you have enough left over, except for the ephemera, to totally make a second book. Okay, I'm going to go now for real. Have a potty break. Meet you on Facebook. And every single one of you that were here, please come and talk to me. I would like to have a real conversation. Do not be scared to interact, because that's the best part of this. And if we were live in a room, you would have had no choice, because even the ones who are shy and try to sneak out of the room, I'd follow you right into the bathroom and chat with you in the next stall. Okay, so we'll see you in a little bit. Thanks so much. That was awesome. And I just have to figure out how to end it because it's live, right? So see you later, and you're up and you have Paige tonight, and that's going to be so good. That is a perfect way to round out this day with those beautiful layouts. So I'll see you in a minute. And as always, thank you so much, guys. Make sure you are following me on my YouTube channel, Vicki Boutin. Come and follow me on Facebook. I always forget to do this, so I'm going to do this. On Facebook at Vicki Boutin Artist. If you haven't joined already, make sure you follow me on Vicki Boutin Creative Community and VickiBoutin.com. That's all of my things. And then Pinterest and Instagram and any of the other things. But I'm going now for real. We'll see you guys in a minute on Facebook. Thank you. End.